Hi, I'm Bruce Hunter, Associate Executive Director of AASA, here with the bi-monthly legislative update. With me today is Noelle Ellerson. Noelle recently completed a survey of 875 AASA members on how their stimulus dollars were being used. Noelle, why don't you tell folks about what you found?
Okay, thank you, Bruce. As Bruce said, I'm Noelle, I'm the policy analyst, and we recently just wrapped up our 6th survey in the series of looking at how the economic downturn is impacting public schools. We had our widest response to date to this survey with the broadest reach, reaching 49 states and the District of Columbia. And the results were more of the same, essentially, that school districts continue to be impacted by the economic downturn. We had 2/3 of respondents report that they had to eliminate positions in 2009, 2010, and an additional 83% anticipate having to make further cuts in 2010, 2011. While I don't have the numbers memorized, the 875 members accounted for just over 13,000 jobs that were cut for this school year and anticipate an additional almost 10,000 for 2010-11. And what we like this survey for is, having been at this for a year, we really were able to benchmark and trend data, looking at how things have changed or, as the results really indicated, managed to stay the same. The cuts continue to come. The cuts that you try to make are the ones that impact academic progress the least. You start by lowering your thermostat. You look to modify things that won't directly impact student achievement. But when you've been making those types of changes for a year, what we find is, unfortunately, it comes down to the programs and personnel that are more directly linked to student achievement. And what was most illustrative in this survey is actually a newer set of questions looking at what we're calling the shell game, which is how states are using the stimulus dollars. And we were able to get our members to identify that in some cases, before they were aware of the stimulus dollars, their states had basically level funded education, were able to maintain funding, or actually even increase. But in light of stimulus dollars, they then cut their state funding to education and use the stimulus dollars to backfill. That's a shell game, and that's something that gives us concern, because when education is articulated as a priority, but it's then rescinded in light of additional funding, that doesn't really match up for a true priority. And education is a solid investment, and we need the funds to be there year after year. And this type of shell game isn't something that should be supported or necessarily allowed in the field. And our members are reporting that they're seeing it and that they're aware of it. So we have the full report available on our website. We also have 12 states that had state-level analysis available. If you're interested in those 12 states, please just contact Bruce or I, and we'll be able to get that to you. Thank you.
And the rest of what's going on in Washington, the child nutrition bill has started to move. The education groups met with Tom Vilsack, the Secretary of Agriculture, and Arnie Duncan, the Secretary of Education, and went through our ideas roughly for how to change and improve the school lunch and breakfast and after-school snack programs. Then the U.S. Department of Education continues to talk about reauthorization of ESEA, floating new trial balloons in student assessment and in other areas such as accountability. But that looks a little further off. And on the weekend, the House passed a health care bill which we think has provisions for children that aren't quite as good as the bill that came out of the Senate Finance Committee. We have to see how children fare in health care as this goes along. Nick Penning included some comments on the House bill and what was in the House bill in his legislative update. You can find that on our website. And finally, we had good news about the speaker at the Federal Relations Luncheon at the National Conference in Phoenix this coming February. Richard Rothstein, well-known author, former education columnist for the New York Times, is going to be the speaker. He has a terrific new essay out about reauthorizing ESEA that is having quite an effect here in Washington. So I urge you, if you're coming to the National Conference, to sign up for that luncheon and come meet Richard Rothstein and hear about his views on how to reauthorize the SCA. And thank you, and we'll be back in a couple of weeks.